Hey guys, it's Matt, or you may know me as Milks, and this is my podcast. So what's it all about? Well, I'm just your average 40-something dad that loves to game and talk tech, as well as relate with the stresses of modern day life. So come on in, grab a drink, and listen as we cover topics, stories, and welcome some of my fellow gaming parents on the show. Thank you for listening, and don't forget, please drop a follow, it's very much appreciated. So hello everyone, it's Season 2, Podcast 1, and Happy New Year, firstly, to everyone. It's a very strange start to the year again. In the UK, we are locked down again. So bit of work, bit of pleasure, bit of play, bit of gaming. So I wanted to start back up with one of my long-term social friends, fellow dad, fellow gamer, fellow photographer. He's a chef. He's very handsome. He's got the Nordic background, similar to myself, although I inherited the ginger genes. So I'm a little bit jealous because, you know, I have this big ginger beard, as you can see if you're watching this on YouTube, and he's got that lovely kind of salt and pepper blonde kind of look, which I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit jealous of. But this guy is a very nice guy, a very good parent, and someone that I've always got on well with. I met him probably when I was floating around 5,000, 6,000 followers. We became partners on Instagram, which is kind of an old school thing now. There's not many partners on Instagram now. I think it's kind of a thing that you do as you start to build up your account, and then it kind of gets a bit out of control, and you have to do your own thing. But this guy was such a good influence to me, and his photography style is fantastic. So without kind of going on for hours and hours and hours, kind of, making this guy's head explode, we're going to introduce our guest for Series 2, Episode 1 of the Dadcast, and this is my buddy Carsten, or the Danish gamer guy. So Carsten, welcome to the show.
What an intro, man. Thank you so much.
I didn't write that down either. That was all.
That was from the heart.
That was all a natural flow, but it's very true, and that's the funny thing is we have been. We use this term social friends. I don't really know what to call it because I treat you as a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, we live in different countries, and in 2020, 2021, I guess we're at a stage now where you can call people you've never met a friend, right?
Yeah, of course. You already did before we actually had the social media.
Yeah, exactly.
Like when I was playing competitive Counter-Strike back in 1999, we become friends with the teams from the other countries, even though we've only played against them.
Yeah,
so it's totally possible.
I think it's definitely a real thing, and probably is become more of a thing as we've obviously we talked about lockdown in this country. I know obviously from us chatting on Instagram and you telling us a story of your neighbour to the left has COVID, the neighbour to the right has COVID, the old people over the road have COVID. You're scared to go out of your house. So I think. I would wonder whether people who don't have the social media aspect and the online presence maybe feel a bit lonelier.
Yeah.
Because I haven't felt lonely during all this. The one thing I haven't felt is disparaging or lonely or without. I've actually liked it because I've got you guys.
Yeah, you always have someone to cover your back, or if you need to vent because of your family or whatever it is, you always have a group of people you can talk to.
Well, exactly, and it's an easy thing to do to just log on to an app and have a conversation with 20 other guys who have kids and are not afraid to say they're struggling or they've had a nightmare day, or as we were talking about off air before we came on, about the joys of your daughter going to the toilet and wanting to involve you in that process.
Exactly. And you involve your community and your friends on Instagram with it as well.
Yeah, exactly. So those little DMs of those poo noises and those photos are always motivational for everyone. But
definitely.
It's a strange old world we live in at the minute. But I think more than ever, and I wonder whether this is a kind of a benchmark of this is the future now. Even once we get past COVID, is this going to be something which is just normal?
I think it'll be more normalized, but I still believe that people need the social contact, like the physical contact. In Scandinavia, I know we're very physical, so we love to hug when we meet each other. We No, we don't kiss on the cheek, but we always hug and say hey and goodbye and give a hug.
I love a hug.
And that is-
I also love
and
a
that has been a-
barbecue.
That has been a big like an issue for a lot of people because they don't have that social interaction in the same way as they did before.
Well, look, I mean, obviously we're in the UK, and a lot of my listeners are obviously in the UK, but a lot are from around the world. And obviously, this is something which is not unique to one country. They call it a global pandemic. So, and we don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole because we hear about tech and gaming and parenting, but obviously
Yes.
you can't avoid it at the moment. And it's interesting to see each country's take on it. Obviously, we've been watching the news in America the last couple of days, and it's been crazy. And it's not really been about the pandemic, but they've got the whole other thing going on over there. But what's it like in your country at the moment? What's the kind of vibe over there? Is it positive, negative? Is there a lot of criticism of your leaders and stuff like that?
Well, the thing about Sweden is that they did like their own take on this COVID thing and went for this strategy with everyone will get infected, so let's do it as quick as possible and try
Herd
to treat
immunity.
it after. Yeah, and that didn't work.
Right.
So I think we're over like 7,000 on the death toll so far.
Well, I remember reading an article which was very when we were. I think it was over last summer when it was kind of quite new, and it was waxing lyrical about your country and the kind of the brave. Let's just continue life as normal, and it put us on the back foot of like we're a bit overcautious. But it's interesting to hear you say that actually, that didn't work.
No.
And
But still now the shopping malls and the stores are open.
really.
Yeah. They've made some more. There's a lot more restrictions now, like on this second wave than the first one. But yeah, we can go down and buy a birthday present for Alicia tomorrow if we want to.
Well, let's
still
lead
open.
into that. Let's get away from the doom and gloom.
Yes.
Because it's very boring now, the whole pandemic. We know what
We've
we're
heard it
gonna
before.
do. It's like second wave. It's like it's not cool. It's like
No.
it's like going back to an ex-girlfriend for the second time, and you're like, I remember why I dumped you, because all that shit's just come back up again. But
I remember why you dumped me.
that's probably more accurate in my case. I've to this day I've never dumped a girlfriend. It's always been the other way
I don't
around.
think I've dumped a girlfriend either. Actually.
No, I'm just bad like that. Like,
Yeah.
I would like to think that I'm this cool OG, but I always got dumped, and I was always the one crying on the phone, going, "Please don't leave me.
Yeah.
I love you so much." But it's your daughter's birthday tomorrow.
Yeah, it is 5 years old.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Are you having a house party?
No, because Corona.
Yeah. Well, a house party between you and your wife.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna go. Her aunt is coming to visit.
Yep.
You're allowed to have like close family
Yep.
visit. So her and her boyfriend are coming to visit, and we're going to a playground with a couple of her friends, and then we're just gonna bake some cakes and stay home.
That's gonna be awesome. Are you baking the
yeah.
cakes?
No, actually, my girlfriend is doing it right now as we speak.
Nice.
While I'm sitting here drinking rum.
Put rum in the cake. That'll make it a fun party.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, she's going to be 5, I believe.
Yeah.
Now, my daughter, or my daughters, are 4 and 6. So I kind of know where you're at right now with that. They're not quite there yet in terms of they're not fully trained in tying the shoelaces, in going to toilet, as we spoke about earlier, without being too crude. It's still an adventure every time they need to go to the toilet. I went for a walk earlier with Carly and the 2 girls, and I'm sure as a dad you've done this a million times and gone, do you need to go to the toilet before we go out?
Oh yeah.
Because it's going to be cold out there. It's like it was minus. I think it was -1 Celsius here today. So it's not bitter, but it's fresh. And I know what it's like when you leave the house. Like within 10 minutes, you need the toilet. So it's like, do you need the toilet?
Yeah,
No.
of course.
We get all the way down, like 2 miles down to this river, which is a really nice. It's called the River Stour, and it's like a little kind of nature walk.
Mm-hmm.
And within 2 minutes, she's like, "Yeah, Dad, I need a wee." So then, I'm the only one who can do it because Carly can't lift her. So you've got to do this kind of like crane maneuver where you lift them up by their legs and
The
dangle
swing?
them and you swing them so they can go to the toilet, and then shake them off violently afterwards. And then, so we had all that earlier today. So
it almost feels like you're molesting your child.
It does a little bit. It's a bit weird. You're doing that kind of look left, look right. Is anyone gonna look kind of thing? And she's doing the same. She's obviously socially anxious. She doesn't want to get caught obviously with her pants down having a wee. So
you know what, Alicia, she's the most social person I've ever met.
Really?
During the summer, she's standing in her trampoline out in the front yard and jumping naked, yelling "Hey, hey" to the people going out on the street. Like, I'm Alicia, my mom's blah blah, my daddy's Carsten, and we live here. We have a dog. Blah blah blah. And it's the same when she's peeing.
She sounds like.
Hey,
Daisy.
hey.
Yeah, Daisy's the same. Poppy's a really shy one, and she uses the classic one. Like, well, she might say something funny, and I laugh with her. And she'll get a proper grump face on and be like, "Don't laugh at me, Daddy." I'm like, no, sweetie, I'm laughing with you. Like, you're funny. I'm not funny. Don't laugh at me. Whereas Daisy's a bit more of an entertainer. So yeah, we did the walk today. We came back. We're doing homeschooling at the moment, which is challenging. Which, to be honest, Carly is doing more than myself, and that's maths.
That must be really hard.
It's tricky. So at 9 a.m, like Daisy's getting up quite early at the moment. She's up at like 6:30. She'll come downstairs, watch TV. That's fine. But at 9 o'clock, we've got to get on the video call to their teachers with all the other class, and they will have a little kind of catch up together. They'll tell them what the homework is. Then they catch up with them in like an hour's time to see how they've got on. So we've got to jump on the video. So that's where it comes down to me having to take certain days off work because, like tonight, for example, Carly's working. Tomorrow, she'll come home. She'll be really tired. So luckily tomorrow there's no school, but I'm doing the same on Monday and Wednesday next week. I'm taking those days off because she'll come home. She'll just be flat out, like tired after working potentially a busy night shift. And then I've got to do daddy day school. And I'm not as patient. I'm not as patient as Carly is. Yeah, you can come in on the camera.
I want to join.
We can learn some English together and some maths. But yeah, it's crazy. Like, there's a part of you, I think it's the lazy part of you, which when people shout lockdown and stuff, you go, yes, life's about to get easier in terms of my workload. But actually, that's the bit of you that kind of is the introvert. It's not good for you, obviously, a lockdown. It's not good for the kids. It's not good for your work. It's not good for kind of, profit margins, all that sort of stuff. And it does put you at that sort of, that risk, and I know you've experienced that more than anyone. With all of this, and we'll again, I kind of don't want to kind of dwell too much on COVID because we're all a bit sick of it. But in your respect, you've gone full on into your streaming.
Yeah, not only streaming, but I tried to go like full-time content creator. So learning how to do content for YouTube, improving my photography style, streaming more on a daily basis. All this while I actually still have Alicia at home because while I'm unemployed, I'm only allowed to have her in kindergarten for 15 hours a week.
Yeah.
So it's 3 hours a day. And it was simply just for me not to sit and play video games all day. I need to challenge myself. I need to keep myself active and push myself.
So what's your kind of schedule like on an average day? Because obviously, as both as parents, I know this might. We have a lot of dads who listen to this podcast, right? And the feedback I've got so far is it's great to hear that you go through the same things that I do.
Yeah.
Now, I think you're a case in point of that is, you're doing all of this and this new content creation and YouTube and Twitch and taking photos and stuff, but you still have the family stuff. So how do you make it work? Have you got kind of an agreement with your girlfriend, or is it something that you just... Does she is your girlfriend like my wife? She hates all of this.
Yes. Gaming, video games, all my toys is for kids, period. Yep. But we've discussed this for 10 years, so...
It's not going to change.
No. But no, we haven't some sort of agreement. But she works like these... Yeah, I did the cooking.
You are a very good... We'll go into cooking in a minute, because you're very good at that.
We'll turn this into a cooking podcast
exactly
instead. Yeah. But no, I get up like 6 in the morning. We had breakfast at 7. We get ready, and then at 9, Alicia is going to the kindergarten. I walk the dog for an hour. And then at 10, I go live on Twitch for 2 hours. Pick Alicia up at 12 noon. Then we have some lunch, playtime with Alicia, for 2 hours, content creation or like learning how to video edit for an hour or two, make dinner, eat dinner, head to bed around 8, 9 in the evening, either go crash somewhere or I will sit down if I have the energy and try to do some more content creation, like take some photos or read a book about marketing, whatever I feel like at that point.
That's a busy day.
Yeah, that's my day 5 days a week.
It's a busy day. Now, this is the funny thing about people who maybe minimize the or have a perception and minimize the effort that goes into creating content. Like we you and I have been on Instagram for many years together now, and there's still I'm a bit more blasé to it now than I used to be. But people stealing your content, for example, and or companies coming to you and asking you to post content for free in exchange for I know it's very dependent on what they're sending you, but it could be a case of like, I'm going to send you this £20 product. And I just want you to photograph it amazingly and post a post about it and
do an unboxing
and do an unboxing, which, as we know, can take hours worth of kind of filming, cutting floor, and perceive that time is free.
Yeah,
is very frustrating. But I think content creators, and I use the word content creator rather than influencer, because I don't think we're influencers. I think we influence by creating good content.
Yeah,
I think an influencer
but you
maybe
still influence people to become better.
Yeah, I think my perception of an influencer is someone that influences because they have a base of fame already. So whatever they put their name behind will do well.
But you have like plus 25,000 followers. They follow you for a reason.
20. I've got my new clock over there, which has my number. It's hidden behind my chair, but yeah, it's about 22 something at the 21 2. But yeah, I would hope they follow because I'm not a public figure. I'm a dad in his dining room, like taking photographs. But like yourself, you're consistent at it. You obviously have a passion for it. Otherwise, you wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it if you didn't enjoy it, right?
No.
You're a big advocate of this. You're a big advocate of this more than anything else. And whoever's listening to this podcast, listen to Carsten in so much that it's not always about the numbers. Carsten is always passionate in our groups to the point of kind of slapping us in the face.
Annoying people.
Of hashtag annoying people. Of saying, do it because you love it. Do what you love. If someone says, "Oh, that post didn't do very well," you would be along the lines of, well, you did it because you enjoyed taking that picture, right? So it's a fine balance of you're doing it for your own enjoyment. If you do it for that primarily, then it will be a fun experience. Instagram will be a fun experience.
The page you create is a page for you.
Yeah.
And you should post what you like, when you like, and you shouldn't post what people expect you to do. And if, like, we had a lot of talks in the chat about people saying, "Oh, my post tanked," and then I go in and look, and it still got 1,000 likes, and they go, "Well, usually it gets 2,000 to 3,000," and I try to like do I'm always positive, so I'm always going like, "Okay, would you rather thank the 1,000 people who spent their time liking your content, or would you rather be negative and cry about the 2,000 people that didn't?"
It's very true. If you break it down to that, and someone said recently, and you'll probably be able to relate to this in the Twitch content of, if you only have 8 people watching you, it's not very good. But if you convert it to, if you had 8 people sat in your room behind you on your sofa watching you game, it would be quite intense.
Yeah.
And when you start to think of things like that, it kind of is a bit of reality check.
Yeah, that's actually how I got that mindset for Instagram, because I was a lot about the numbers at some point because I liked the attention. And then I started my streaming, and I think it was Harris Heller, he's called the Stream Doctor. I can't remember if it was him, but he said the hardest point is getting from 0 viewers on Twitch, because you have to talk all the time. You have to be interactive with yourself. And a lot of people say, well, if you only have 1 viewer, is it worth it? And then if you look at it, if one person spent an hour of their life looking at you doing something, then they definitely deserve that attention.
Yeah. Yeah, and
it's as plain and simple.
That is very, very true, and that's the thing I found hard on Twitch is talking into oblivion, and almost talking to yourself.
Yeah.
It becomes a lot easier, even if you have one person or two people. When you have no people, you get to a point where you get so involved in the game that you actually zone out of Twitch, and you just start playing the game. And then people jump in and you ignore them. I remember getting raided by about 20 people once, and I was in a Captain America costume because I was feeling silly, so I had the helmet on, nice. I had the outfit on. It would have been a great stream if I'd have started off with 20 people, but I didn't see them come in.
No.
And I was looking. I think it was like Call of Duty or something like that. Or PUBG. It was something very sweaty, and I was concentrating so hard on the game that I missed him for an hour. It was an hour, and I went. It's not good. And I went back and read the comments afterwards, and I was just like, "Oh, it's so embarrassing." And I think that was like the coffin nail to my streaming at that point. Just like I can't do two things at once, but it is nice to have, a couple of people in your stream, at all times, and ones that are regulars, even better.
And it's all about just building your community. Like, I know for a fact that every time I go online, I have at least 5 people who will be there.
Yeah,
they're always there for every stream, even if it's just lurking, like being in the chat. It will still help you get more exposure and get seen by more people.
Yeah.
But that exactly what you're saying about focus. That's why I keep from playing Counter-Strike. I've had so many requests from people like, "Why don't you play Counter-Strike Go?" Because they want to see me play, because it would be fun, because I'm an old pro, and I know that I'm so competitive in that specific game that I wouldn't focus on the chat or the viewers at all. So it wouldn't be a good experience. Stroud can do it. He's a big name, but it would hurt me more than it would help me. And that's why I usually suck at Warzone when I stream it, because I try to focus on the viewers, because the viewers are the reason I do what I do, because I enjoy it. And I do it, it sounds so cliche, but I do it for the viewers.
Yeah.
Like, I want to entertain them.
Yeah, I mean, if you're elite at a game, people will just passively watch you do your thing. But I think if you're someone like me, I don't like playing games at all when I'm on stream. I'd rather just get drunk and just have a laugh. It's much more sociable. So tomorrow night we're going to be going on stream for Royalty, and I guarantee it will just be alcohol and probably something like Cards Against Humanity, marbles, or something like that. But
social games.
Yeah, social game. I see Twitch now for me as going on and having a laugh with friends. That's my level.
Yeah, that's how it should be, until you become a pro and actually start making a living of it. Yeah. Because, like I've said in our group a lot of times, it's a hobby until it pays your bills. Yeah. And it should be kept like that.
Yeah, and you got to go pretty hard for it to pay the bills. That's where I have to sometimes reality check the really enthusiastic members of Royalty, in so much that we are not a company, and we don't have income. We have a little bit of income, which maybe just goes back into the odd giveaway or to pay for some minimal overheads, but it doesn't pay a wage. My job pays my mortgage and my house, and for my kids to go to gymnastics and all that sort of stuff. So I have to be focused, like, to a point. Like, I would dedicate my heart and soul to Royalty, but there is still the whole reality outside of social media, which means we have to keep paying the bills, and we have to, got cars to pay for and all that sort of stuff. I would love for social media to become a platform that paid for everything, because then I'm doing my dream job.
Yeah. I'm kinda. That was a weird word. I'm kinda excited.
I think we need to patent that word. Quinda. That's a rum word there.
That's quite and some other word. I don't know. Quinda.
That's going on your stream. That has to be an emoji. Quinda.
Yeah, quinda. No, I'm excited to see. I heard in the news yesterday that some experts in marketing field and stuff, they were complaining in Denmark about the salaries of influencers. That a lot of influencers often sell themselves too cheap.
Yeah.
Like we've talked about in the group a lot of times, like, don't do a post for a $20 item. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
And they were like, it was professors from universities and blah, 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 who made studies and said most of them get paid off with a gift card for something, for 110 quid for doing some marketing work for a company. And that's just not good for the influencers. So I think they're going to try to make some rules and make it harder for companies to just like try to pay off the influencers with items of low value.
It probably does need a bit of regulating, doesn't it?
Yeah, because there's no rules about it, and all like we talked about. I can't remember it was you I told it to, but all influencers in Denmark and Sweden, we have to pay tax of all the things we get for free.
Yes, it was something that we spoke about, and I was like, wow, like I get you should declare income. Hashtag I do. But
Self promo.
Yeah. But
If
you know,
IRS, if you're listening, I do it.
If you are listening, I did declare that. But to be honest with you, I mean, I could count paid jobs in the last 4 years on one hand. Most of them are product for post, and that's the difficulty. Like you said, if you get all the influencers at a table and you go, okay, would you work for free? Would you work for product? Do you want paying? The answers are going to be really varied, and you're going to have people who are at 4,000 followers are going to say, I'll take that product and run. You got people at 50,000 followers are going to say, I want paying £1,000 or whatever. And I guess it's hard for both. It's hard for the influencer because there's no yardstick to say this is what you can charge. I know you can go online and you can work out how much you should charge based on your followers, but that is a very loose formula. Because a lot of the time you'll go, I'm happy to, of course I am, but I'm happy to obviously work within a budget, and then you don't hear from them again.
No.
So it's a hard one to balance out. If the product is really, really nice and really cool, and the product itself has quite a lot of value, I think the majority of influencers or content creators would say, yeah, fine, send it out. I'm really happy to do that.
Yeah. I've made like a sales pitch and what do you call it? Not an overlay, but
like a CV?
Yeah, exactly, about pricing and my reach and how I would sell myself, which I send to all companies that contact me. But then I have companies where I feel like, would I actually buy the product myself? And if I can say yes, then sure, I'll do a post if you send me the product, because it's a product I know I want. I have a small Danish company that just sent me like a controller for the mobile to play Call of Duty and stuff, and it's £30, I think.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not going to use it myself, but I know my nephew, he would love it. So I'm like, yeah, sure, send me one. I'll do a review, and they were nice enough. They said, can we send you one, and you can give us your thoughts, and if you want to, you can make a review or a post. They didn't demand it. They just wanted my thoughts on their product.
Yeah, I mean, I've had similar kind of experiences. Recently, I had a chair company reach out, and I've had so many people in our group have had chairs recently, and I'm like,
oh yeah,
I don't need a chair, but I feel left out because I've not had a chair.
I want a chair.
I just want a chair. I don't even need one. But I was like,
I have this HyperX I've had for 4 years. It's squeaking and it's falling apart.
It looks nice though. But I said to the company, I was like, look, I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm more than happy to review it, but I want to give this chair to a friend who needs a chair. So if you're happy to proceed on that basis, that I'll review it, take a photo of it, but as soon as I'm done, I'm going to give it to a friend who needs a chair. And they're like, yeah, that's cool, absolutely fine. So I was like, brilliant. Like, I don't need paying, just send it to me, I'll do the review. And then they were like, you're based in the US, right? I was like, no, I'm in the UK. And they're like, oh yeah, we can't pay for shipping on that. But, well, if in the future we ship to the UK, we'll let you know. I was just like, you could have seen that in my bio, damn it. It says I'm in the UK.
I've had so many of those companies.
Oh, it's frustrating.
Yeah. Even companies from the UK, because they can't send it to me because you're not part of EU, so they have to pay import tax and stuff. Yeah. And I had multiple companies who sent me items, both from the UK and the US, and it got taken by the toll. And I contacted the company and said, you have to pay this fee. And they were like, no, I would rather just let it go back then. What the fuck?
Yeah.
So you spend a lot of money
bonkers.
shipping it, and I think one of them is the fee was 15 euros. Not a lot of money.
It's not a lot. That's not a lot.
Rather that it was shipped back than they had to pay the fee.
Well, funnily enough, I had an invoice today. I opened up this envelope. I was like, "What the hell's this?" And I've got an invoice from FedEx for £40 custom charge for some items that were sent out. And like you said, the first thing I'm going to do is speak to the company and go, yeah, I wasn't expecting this. Like, if I have to, I will. But like, I shouldn't incur costs to review a product, even though it was sent for free. So we'll see what happens on that one. But otherwise, FedEx is going to be knocking at my door in a month's time, going, "You owe me $40." So
Run, you fool!
We should. Yeah.
I actually hate. I think it was FedEx here in Sweden who delivered a package to me, and a week later they sent an invoice. So I couldn't decline the product. They gave me the product without anything, and then a week later I got a bill.
That's exactly what's happened to me. Like the product came 3 weeks ago, like before Christmas, and the invoice has only just come out now. So it's like you don't really have the choice. But I'm not going to moan because this was like one of my kind of like my closest kind of commercial relationships. So like I will reach out to them and go, would you mind covering that? If they say no, I'll pay it because I'm not going to quibble. But if it was someone that I'd not worked with before and it was the first time, I'd be like, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, there are really good companies and then there are idiots.
Yeah. There's plenty of them out
but
there.
it'll be interesting to see in the Danish market how they actually, in the Swedish as well, how they will be able to change this whole product paying strategy for the influence. How you will turn all the influencers to start demanding money instead. Because, like you said, it's so different who will accept a product and who will actually say, "I need some money. Like, I need cold cash." Because you have to pay taxes on it.
I guess the hard thing is like the social media is it brings the world together quite close. So if they can't operate in Sweden, Denmark, whatever, without having to pay people, it probably isn't a huge stretch for them to say, well, we just work to people in the UK, Ireland, Spain, Portugal.
No.
So unless it's at source and no matter where they send the product, they get taxed. They'll just start to look for people who are outside of that zone, I'm guessing. It's just weird.
Yeah, it is. And how, I read the rules yesterday because I was wondering, I got that Assassin's Creed Valhalla press kit with the drinking horns.
I love the drinking horn. I love the drinking horn. I'm really into it. Like you influence me quite a lot in obviously getting it. Like I've got the game coming tomorrow. It arrives tomorrow. You saw the crazy thing is people love Valhalla. Like that post I put up yesterday.
Yeah.
I did a whole photo shoot of like various angles. You know when you've done a photo shoot and you go, which one do I post?
Yeah.
And I spent about 15 minutes going, do I do close up? Do I do an over the chair shot where it just shows the PC? And I had that whole internal argument for about half an hour, and I ended up posting the shot that I posted.
It's the worst.
And it's a horrible feeling. Like, is it going to bomb because I've chosen the wrong one? But that post, Valhalla, I don't think it's just the post itself, but it's currently sat at 6,500 likes.
Yeah.
In 24
hours.
Crazy.
It's crazy. Valhalla is popular, and Vikings are popular.
It's massively popular. Like if I went into my my historical posts and I went back 2 years, and out of my top 4 posts in the last 2 years, 3 of them are Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
That's insane.
Isn't that weird?
I need to take more pictures of that.
It's what everyone said. Everyone's like, okay, I'm going to start posting Valhalla, but it was really weird. Like I think a little bit is the kind of the color, I guess.
I think it's the color, and then like you get a larger reach because if you do like Viking, you will get fans of the series as well, not only the video game, and you will get you will get fans of Norse mythology. You will get fans of like. You'll get a whole other reach than you would do on a Call of Duty post, for example.
Yeah,
where it's only gamers.
Obviously it's very, very, very popular, and I'm actually watching Vikings at the moment. I'm in season 5 now. I researched my lineage, my history of my family, and it does go all the way back to the Vikings. So at some point we could be related. At a stretch.
No.
Obviously, maybe there was
I see the resemblance.
maybe there was a ginger clan, and then there was the salt and pepper kind of good-looking clan, and maybe there was a daughter and a king that just kind of,
Of course.
they combined at some point, and after
Yes.
that we kind of separated. But yeah, I've always been a big fan of that. I'm always intrigued by this massively, because you obviously see, when you watch Vikings as an example, you kind of buy into the whole history of it, and obviously, personally, I've always been into Greek mythology and all kind of these ancient mythologies. I'm not really a religious person. I prefer that sort of side of religion, if you like. What's it like growing up in that sort of country? I know you're from Denmark, in Sweden. Do you still have a lot of that around you?
Like the Danish Vikings were better than the Swedish and the Norwegians.
Well, naturally.
Just to clear up, no, they actually made research a couple of years back about this, and if you compared what they conquered and did, the Danish versus the Swedish and Norwegian, they were a lot tougher, and they did a lot more.
So do you still have that around you as a country, or has it kind of been lost?
No, it's a lot of years ago. We don't even talk about Vikings. Like,
that's got to be a bit of a shame, right? Because it obviously, I know it's back in vogue at the moment, so it probably comes a bit of like, you're only liking it because it's a TV show, but someone who genuinely is really interested in all of that, and my favorite Marvel franchise being Thor, it's fascinating. So
I need to show you something. Now you just mentioned Thor. I got a Christmas present from a friend yesterday from Belgium.
I saw that, and that's like the kind of vintage style.
Isn't he awesome?
That is really cool. I saw that on your in the group, and that's unique. I've never seen that one before.
Me neither. And I'm not even a fan of Thor, but it like Norse mythology.
So if people who aren't watching this on YouTube and you're listening to it on a podcast, that was a we forget that people aren't watching this. That was a pop vinyl. What number pop vinyl is that?
650.
650, and that is a kind of a vintage Thor, I think based on probably the comics.
Yeah, I think so. And they're like this color splash, like a lot of colors. It's a special series.
I thought it was a Simpsons piece when you first showed it to me.
A Simpsons Thor. It could be.
It does look like the Simpsons version of Thor, but it's just nice. It's striking. It's like it's a unique one. That's a really thoughtful gift.
Yeah, really, we were blessed. It was actually a guy I met on Instagram. He sent
Shadow Zone, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. He sent a package with Thor for me, a box from Rituals for my girlfriend, and a package of Lego Frozen for Alicia, and like a fleece blanket for Alicia with Frozen as well. And then we got some Belgian chocolate.
That's really nice. And that's come all the way from Belgium as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it was incredible.
Which is awesome. Yeah, I mean, that again points to the fact that social friends are real friends.
Yeah. Like, I'm just, when you brought this back, I wanted to say this before when we talked about it. A lot of the people in our group, like you, for example, which I've known for so long time, I feel like you know me better than the most of the people I have as friends in real life. Because we talk much more often than I talk to them. Like, I talk to them once a week, maybe, and we talk almost on a daily basis.
Well, I think that the thing is as well, we have a common interest, and that's the thing with some of my friends is they don't play video games. So we talk about boring stuff, or I'll go into the WhatsApp. Everyone's got WhatsApp groups with their friends, and I'll go in and they're just sending memes, or they're just talking about politics, or they're just they're sending videos like that video I just put in the group that caught you out. They're sending stupid videos, and you don't have many meaningful conversations. But actually, in our groups, we talk about stuff that's much closer to home. I feel like we bond on social media a lot more because we have a lot of this common interest. Like you and I in particular have those common bonds of, we have partners who don't like what we do. They don't like that we game and we do all this kind of social media, and it's like, what is that? It's child's play. You know, we have obviously, you got a daughter, I've got two daughters around similar age. You know, we're not young gamers per se.
Yes.
You know, you're younger than I. But we're not kids anymore. But you know, I think some of my friends in particular don't get it. They don't. I've talked about this numerous times on previous podcasts. Friends in your own friend circle, in particular, friends of your partner, who already doesn't like what you do, they really don't get it.
No. That's the fun thing, actually, I've noticed with my girlfriend's. Her name is Linnea. Her friend circle is, the more they get to know me and figure out what I do, they start to open up like their small secret box. Like, oh, well, I play as well. Like, it's like they dare come forward and say, oh yeah, me too. What's your Steam account? I need to add you. Especially after they visit us and they seem like my setup and my studio. Oh, what are you doing? So usually all the guys end up in my room, and she goes around looking at interior design with the girls. Even the girlfriends don't know they're playing video games and have the interest.
I mean, your house is stunning. I mean, that's the first thing I'll say. Like, it took me an hour to get this background of this video to a point where I was okay showing it off. But like, your house has been featured in commercial kind of usage, like magazines and stuff recently.
Yeah, it actually in the last year we had a reporter doing a footage on our it was our apartment before we moved to the house.
Yep.
But then we had other companies come in here and take use our living room and kitchen and other rooms for product shots for their catalogs.
That's crazy.
And we, like, my girlfriend, she has, I would like to say, one person contact her a month. That might be a bit too much, but she's been contacted a lot of times from journalists who want to make a coverage of our house from where we came and the progress we made. She's really, really good at what she's doing.
I mean, how does that even start? Like, does she have her own social media account doing that kind of stuff?
Yeah, she does. It's the place called Home.
Nice.
And it's basically just her. She likes to buy a lot of old furniture and then restore them and sell them, and then interior design. And she's really good at it.
And you're quite handy with the tools too. I've seen from previous pictures.
I yes. I was trying to get out of it. Yeah, but I can build stuff. Yeah.
There's no escape in this podcast. I'm getting it all out.
But the thing is, we've been renovating this house for a year now, and now it's just, I don't want to. And today we were just out buying new plywood and stuff to fix the last room in here, which we're starting tomorrow. I just want to be done.
I think the thing is, you do get to a point of comfort, because I remember when you were buying the house. I remember when you were sending me a message saying, we're moving in here, we've put an offer, this is the place we're going to get. And, it seems crazy that we're now probably nearly 2 years down the line. But we did the same with this house. There's still a lot to do, but the house is at a point where we don't need to do anything. It's purely for our own kind of progression and comfort. And that's the hard bit. Once you get to that point where it'll do, it's hard to kind of motivate yourself to push on. Like, I need to do the loft. I need to board the loft. I don't need to do it. Like, the loft could be fine as it is, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking recording studio. So, I need to push on and get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the thing is, when we moved into the house, it was fully functional. We didn't have to do anything.
You ripped the kitchen out.
Yeah, actually, the first Christmas we had here, the first year, we didn't have any kitchen. We started assembling our kitchen on Christmas Eve. We didn't have water. All the dishes we did in the sink in the bathroom on the top floor.
Wow,
that was challenging.
Yeah, the things you do, and that's with that's with the family as well. I mean, that's hard.
Yeah, it was. But hey, we're at a good place now. We're almost done. Loving it. And the most important for us is actually the area and Alicia having all of her friends near. Because when we lived in the old apartment, her kindergarten was 2.5 kilometers away. So all of her friends were based at least 2.5 kilometers away.
Yep.
Now they're right on the other side of the street, right behind the building. Like, she's got friends everywhere. And like I said, she's the most social person ever. Example, yesterday we walked home from the city, downtown, and she saw a mother with a boy and a girl her age on the other side of the street, and she was like, hey, hey, and then suddenly they moved to our side, and she ran all she could up to her, like, hey, what's your name? My name is Alicia. How old are you? Blah, blah, blah. And then suddenly, like 2.5 hours later, we went from their yard where they played home.
Wow.
They went inside to their house and played while me and the parents were just talking out in the backyard.
That is, it's a really nice quality that you hope doesn't grow out of them, because I think it's such a, like, Daisy and Alicia are very similar in so much that they are social butterflies, and it's a really nice thing to see. Not sure if Alicia is a bit like Daisy in so much that she's very emotional with that as well, but Daisy's a crier. She's a bit like me. Like, I had a cry before we came on tonight for no reason.
Okay.
I didn't really. I cried because I've run out of wine, and
I don't have time to cry.
It was a real thing, but Daisy's very emotional. She's going through this phase at the minute where she just cries at bedtime because she misses like mum, because mum's at work, and that's it's just come out of the blue, like from nowhere, and I don't quite get it, because she's been with mum all day and ignored her, and then she goes to work and then she misses her. But I think it's just a ploy to stay up late.
But that's the thing, you don't know what you've lost until you actually miss it.
It's very true.
Did they came out right?
I think that's the expression. You don't know what you got till it's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
However, I do enjoy the silence when. Yes. I do enjoy the silence when she's gone to work. But
between us, me too. Like Linnea, she has like 1 week where she got early shift, and then she has 1 week where she has like late shifts. So she works from 2 p.m. to midnight, and it's just nice.
Yeah, it is nice to have your own time.
Alicia is very, 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 very much dad's girl. So it's daddy, daddy, daddy all the time, 24/7. It's me who needs to sing for her when we go to bed. Like, she almost doesn't look at Linnea. That sucks. But
I get the same thing, and it's one of those things where you hate it at the time because you think, I just need some space. But I guarantee if you were away from her for 5 to 10 hours, you would miss her like crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's the curse of being a dad.
That's how it is being a good dad.
Yeah,
you know?
I think so. Yeah, I'm the first to say I want my space, but as soon as I get my space, I don't want the space. I want to have it back. It's quite a nice feeling that they're both upstairs asleep, and if I want to go up and just spy on them quickly and check that they're all okay, then I can do that, which is really nice.
And that's the thing. That's just the thing with kids. Like, people who don't have kids, or people who are just about to become parents, they're like, I'm still gonna be playing video games on regular basis, blah blah blah. And without any thought, you just change your priorities from one day to another.
Well, yeah,
and focus on them.
I definitely agree with that. I remember speaking to Mo in our chat group the other day about this, and it was being able to concentrate on something for more than 30 minutes. Like, that's the thing I found about being a parent, is I'm always in kind of standby mode. So I find it really hard, unless people are, well, even when they're out, I get this. I'll sit down to play a game, and I'll sit on the sofa, and I'll start playing it, and after about 20 minutes, I start to zone out, and I just start to think, what do I have to do around the house? There's something I need to do, right? So I'll pause the game, I'll go up, and I'll kind of walk around like a bit of a zombie in the house, thinking, there's nothing really I need to do, but my brain has been wired differently since becoming a dad, and so much that I can't just have a selfish 3-4 hour 5 hour binge on a game.
There's something I need to do.
Yeah, there's something. Just sit here. Am I going to get in trouble if I play this for an hour? You got to start thinking. Yeah, what am my wife going to yell at me at because I haven't done?
even now, I'm sitting like looking over my shoulder for when she's coming in the door.
Yeah. Don't talk too loud. Don't talk too loud because she
Sorry.
might find out our secrets. It's weird, and you do get that kind of like even tonight. Like I know after I come off this, we're gonna come off at 11. That's a reasonable time to start gaming on a Friday night. I can probably stay up till 1 o'clock. I guarantee I will sit down on the sofa, and I will pause, go make a cup of tea, think about stuff. And I'm probably just thinking of things I should be doing, but there's nothing you can do at 11 o'clock at night that can't wait till tomorrow. But your mind has been conditioned as a dad that if you sit down and play a game for more than half an hour, you're going to get shouted at.
Yes, that's actually why I started streaming. I had no game time whatsoever, and I thought there's so many great games I want to play.
Yep.
And how am I supposed to do this when I don't have any time? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna start streaming. Then I know at least 2 times a week I have 3 to 4 hours dedicated to gaming. And then there are some expectations from other people to me, so I have to do it. And it actually it became like my schedule. I did it 2 times a week, and I started enjoying it. Because then suddenly, I don't go like in depth with games. I don't have time to do it. But I play a lot of games, just like the tip of the iceberg.
Yep.
And I get the social interaction with people. And that's, as a dad, that's absolutely one of the best ways to get some game time to yourself without feeling bad. Because Linnea, she knows, Wednesday and Friday from 8 p.m. till midnight, Carsten's locked up here in the office.
Yeah, I wish I could have that. I guess because Carly's shifts are different every week, I struggle to schedule stuff.
But you could if it's in the evening after they're asleep. That's what I planned mine after. Because Alicia goes to sleep like 7, 8 p.m. And then I go online around 9 p.m. until midnight. That gives me 3 hours. You can get quite far in a game if you have 3 hours dedicated to only playing that game.
Well, I used to have it that Carly would say, come to bed, once I fall asleep you can get back up again. And I used to do it quite a lot. I would lay in bed on my phone while she was kind of falling asleep. She'd normally kind of I'm like the human pillow. She lies on my chest every single night to get to sleep. So it'd be like lying here, giving her kind of strokes on the back until she falls asleep, then go roll over, I'm too hot. And back in the day I would get up and come downstairs and then start gaming. But now I get to the point where I'm old now, I'm like 41, I go upstairs to wait until she falls asleep, and then I'm like, actually, I'm just going to go to bed. I can't be bothered to go downstairs and turn everything on again. I'm just going to go to sleep. So I might stay on my phone for another 10 minutes, or I'll fall asleep to Vikings or Audible or something like that. But I don't come down as much anymore. So the whole staying up late thing, I have a lot of those teenage conversations where it's like, I'm not tired. I don't want to go to bed. It's only 9:30. It's only 10. I have that a lot.
Yeah. But you want to go to bed at 10.
Yeah. If I want to go to bed at 10, I'll go to bed at 10. If I haven't said that, I want to stay up till midnight.
Yeah. And if you stay up until midnight, you'll hear for it.
Oh, it is a tough one. It is a tough one.
Yeah.
So, obviously, we're coming into 2021 now. So, what have you set yourself a plan for this year? Have you set yourself a target and a goal?
I've tried to. I haven't actually had time to sit down and do any plan. But of course, I have some I've been thinking about from last year. Seeing when I reached my goals at the end of the year, I could start planning for new ones. But they're not written in stone yet. But my focus will be moved a bit away from Instagram.
Yep.
And I will start focusing more on YouTube until I master it.
YouTube is a tough one. I love
Grandmaster.
I love and hate YouTube because I think it's easy to pump out content if you have zero quality control.
Yeah.
And I watch people who pump out a video a week, and the pros say you should be getting a video a week out, but you and I are probably the type of people that are probably heavily critical of themselves. Yes. And if you sit and just push something out that you weren't happy with, you would regret it. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem I get with YouTube is like the other day, for example, I don't know if you remember, but I put a vote out on my story of like, would you like the first video of YouTube in 2021 to be about about Instagram and my experience with the Instagram and how I grown and what I'd recommend if you're looking to grow your Instagram. And I had a day where Carly was at work and the kids were at Nanny and Granddad's, so I had the house to myself, and I filmed for about 2 hours, and I hated every single take.
Yeah.
And I ended up scrapping it, and I find I do more of that. I scrap more than I actually keep on YouTube. It's a really tough medium.
Yeah, that's the thing. People don't actually know how much effort it takes to make a 5-minute, 3-minute video on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you have like some kind of level of quality.
Yeah.
And that, like you, I try to. I want mine to be like certain level of quality before I put it out.
Yeah, a bit of production value.
Even though I don't know how to edit video, I've never never filmed products before. I have no experience at all. So of course it will take me longer because I have to sit down and actually learn how the post edit works.
Yeah, and, I think you are similar to me in so much that you've probably got to the point where, and it's taken a bit of a while to get to this because you've got your equipment and you've got your lighting and stuff. You've got to the point that I think I have where you're happy with the way it looks, because you've got this lovely kind of, like now you've got this lovely bokeh in the background. It's all blurry and you've got the nice lighting on your face. That's taken a while to get to that, and you've got that right. So I'm at that stage now where I know how to set up my camera and my lighting, but I tend to ramble quite a lot.
Yeah.
So I'll be like 5 minutes of talking in a video before I've actually got to the product. And it's dangerous, isn't it? I watch these guys who are like snappy to the point, or like people that do TikToks who can do a product review in 60 seconds. I'm like, how the fuck can you do a review in 60 seconds? Like I'm warming up.
It's black, got a screen, it turns on. Fuck.
Well, there's a guy on TikTok that I watch, and I feel really bad for forgetting his name right now, but he is becoming quite well known as a very good TikToker, and he follows me on Instagram as well. Nice. I can't remember his bloody name. He's an English guy, but he makes 60 seconds look like 5 minutes.
Oh,
it's not rushed. Everything is like factual, but kind of casual, to the point. Whereas when I do a 60-second video, like I'm halfway through saying what I want to say, and it's over. Yeah, it's hard. It's a hard medium.
Yeah, isn't it easy? I have no experience with TikTok. I installed it. That's about it. But isn't it easier to do like recordings for a product review like he does versus doing B-roll and editing it in Premiere?
I think physically it's easier to do in so much that you just point the phone at you and press record, and you can get it out there in 5 seconds. You can add a filter, you can add some music in the background. In terms of like the production side of it, it's really easy, but it's also very easy to lose people's interest quickly because you've just chatted shit for the first 10 seconds. I think the thing with TikTok, it needs to grab you immediately. Yeah. And you need to be right on point with the facts straight away. I've got a mixed experience with TikTok in so much that the stuff you work really hard on doesn't necessarily do that well, and the stuff that you throw out kind of almost as a throwaway bit of fun does really well. So you think, well, I don't know what to do on that platform now. I don't know. I
actually think that also reflects in Instagram.
A little bit.
Like for example, the picture of the horn, the Viking horn I took yesterday.
It's a great picture. Over 1,000 likes.
It was like this puddle of snow. And I took some pictures indoors, and my girlfriend was like, go outside and take a picture. I was like, okay, we have a Christmas tree and this small puddle of snow, and I was down on my knees in a puddle of mud. Took a picture. That was it. Only took one shot. And I was like, nah, that's not going to work.
Well, you know why it did well?
No.
Assassin's Creed logo.
Yeah.
Told you.
Do you want to see
there is something going on in the world, my friend. There is assassins out there who are watching for our posts.
And you know what? I got a box that only 300 in the world got.
I know. I was very jealous. It's a very, very nice bit of kit.
Me too.
From Nordic.
Nordic Ubisoft.
Ubisoft, that's it.
And actually, when they sent me the collector's edition, I became a partner of Ubisoft a week before Legion.
Yep.
So it was very close to Assassin's Creed as well. And they sent these press kits out to their partners, and I've seen it on Instagram, and I thought, well, I became a partner so late, so they wouldn't have any extra for me, and I said, fair enough, I don't need it. I got the game for free a week or two before, and then they sent me a collector's edition. I was like, wow, okay, that's amazing. Like a Band-Aid for, like, we don't have the real one you need, but you can get this one instead.
Yeah.
But then mid-December, it dropped in my door with FedEx.
That's a beautiful bit of kit.
It definitely is.
Well, you were the first person I actually watched Valhalla on your stream.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And I jumped into it, and I didn't want to continue it because I didn't want to kind of like ruin the experience for me. So I remember watching it on yours and going, this looks really good. And then, like you do with some games, I missed the first wave, as I call it. And I've got mine coming tomorrow. So I'll get into it. But I missed the first wave on that one. But it's strange because I enjoyed most of the other Assassin's Creed. I would call myself a big Assassin's Creed fan. However, I missed...
Who's your favorite?
Either Altair, right in the beginning, or Audio El Dottore. So we're talking Renaissance.
Excellent choices.
We're talking right in the beginning where it was the original Assassin's Creed, but I also loved Renaissance Rome in Italy.
Yeah.
I remember saying in one of my previous episodes that I went to Turkey and I took the book, Assassin's Creed book with me, and it was around Ezio Auditore, and it was a really, really good read. It was a really good read.
Yeah.
And
I
then
got 4 of them in my storage.
They're really good. And then it kind of lost its way as it went into the American Civil War. It wasn't so much that the story sucked, although it did a bit.
No.
It was that they did a massive overhaul on the controls.
Yeah, they did.
And it became really clunky. It was kind of this sort of really awkward first-person shooting of like bows and stuff. And I really didn't enjoy it because it just felt really, really awkward to play. Whereas the earlier ones was very much like you push one button and he grabs a ledge. You know, it was very intuitive, and you know you had the whole jump off stuff. And I think I jumped. It lost me for a bit, and then I jumped back in when it came back to Egypt. I think was I was confused with Origins. Was it Origins?
Yeah.
And then what's the Greek one called?
Odyssey.
So Odyssey I haven't played yet. So that's one I will jump in. But I played Origins, and that was good again. That picked back.
But I can
up.
promise you got a solid 100 hours of playtime in Valhalla, at least.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So I'm gonna.
Have I shown you my signed book, Assassin's Creed?
You haven't. Go on. If you got it, show it.
Oh no, it's actually in my storage. I can't show it now, but I have a signed book by Caterina Sforza.
Nice.
And a T-shirt as well.
That is awesome.
And it was her birthday yesterday, by the way.
If you're listening to my podcast, which is highly unlikely, happy birthday for yesterday.
Christina Rosato, an amazing actor and voice actor.
Well, we'll tag her. We never know. She might listen. But
she has to.
The whole franchise is amazing. I've jumped back into No Man's Sky and found it a long old slog tonight. Watch Dogs is the other game I'm playing, and as of tomorrow, it will be Valhalla, which I'm really excited about. But what game are you excited about for this year?
I don't know. My backlog is still so damn big. Currently, I'm playing Legion, Valhalla, and Immortals Phoenix Rising.
Yes. What's that like?
It's freaking amazing.
Really?
Like, it's my game of the year from 2020.
Wow, because there's not a lot of games on Switch that grab me like that.
No.
The last one was Zelda.
So it's like Breath of the Wild,
Yep.
just with Greek mythology and a shitload of humor.
So why wouldn't you like that? That's like the game for me.
Like I can't remember when I laughed so much at a video game like I did at this one, because the dialogue you have between Thor and I think it's Prometheus.
Yep.
It's like it's legendary, and it's just through all out of the game. And then on the load screens you get these weird fucked up quotes by Zeus and stuff. Like it's so fun, and everything works. The mechanics, the fighting is a bit repetitive, but it works. Everything works. Like it's so much fun.
I think was yet another.
Yeah, I believe I wish I got it on Switch, because it feels like a perfect Switch game. But I got it on PC by Ubisoft again.
Yep.
So I could stream it for people.
Yep.
But I really, really think it's a perfect fit for the Switch.
I want more Switch games. The Switch is so good. Like for such a small console, like Breath of the Wild, and now this game, it's got so much potential. The Switch, but they seem to cater to a lot of the cheap throwaway games. And I know this is controversial. You know when they say like controversial topic. I don't like Mario. I don't like any of the Mario games. I can play them for 10 minutes. I get bored of them extremely quickly. All the party games, all of that shit, I'm not into it. Like I want a game that I can get lost in. Zelda did that for me.
But have you actually looked into the store? What they have in Nintendo eShop?
I've been into the shop quite a lot.
You got the Outer Worlds, you got Doom, you got Immortals Phoenix Rising, you got a lot of AAA games in there. You can actually play on the Switch now.
I think that's the problem is if it's available on, and this is the dilemma that you had, like if it's available on other consoles, like I've got a Series X, I'm never going to buy a game on the Switch that I can play on a Series X. So like Zelda for me was great because it was an exclusive.
Yeah.
You can only play it on there, and it was such a good game. If you give me the choice of buying Doom or whatever, and it's available on a next-gen kind of 4K, 120 frames per second or 60, whatever, I'm going to go the other route. Yeah. So, like, the Zelda was a good one for that because I didn't have another choice. So, for me, that console consumed me for, like, 3 months. I loved it. And you can lift it up and take it to bed.
Yeah,
because you just lift it out the back of the telly. Yeah. So I want the Switch to have more games like that. Like I'm a big fan of the Switch, but
I'll give you a review. I just bought the Paw Patrol for Alicia for tomorrow.
Perfect.
Maybe that'll be the next game you buy.
That could be it. I'm gonna be rubble on the double.
Yeah, but no, they were talking about a collab between Xbox and Nintendo with the Game Pass.
Ooh.
Yes, so if you get the Game Pass on the Switch, that would give you a shitload of games to play.
That would. I mean, the thing is, if they're free, like you said, I think the dilemma is if you're going to pay for it, Switch don't often do any deals on premium games. Like, even if you go on any of the Mario games, they're £50.
Yeah, they actually just did now with the Immortals Phoenix Rising during their sales that ended last week. They had like 15 or 20 euros off Immortals Phoenix Rising, for example.
Yeah.
And I bought Little Nightmares, the complete package, for 10 euros, if not less.
Yeah,
I think
it's good.
8 euros. Yeah. So they have a lot. I use it a lot for indie games because, like you say, if a AAA game comes out for new gen, absolutely on PC, Xbox. But all the indie games, Inside, Limbo, Little Nightmares, Firewatch, love that game. Raveled, isn't it Raveled?
Unraveled, yeah, they've just got one and two, I think, are on there, and also there was another one which I did get recently on the Switch, which was I forget the name, but it's the artwork has got a big dark kind of demon underneath the water, and there's a little boat, and you're on the boat, and most people will probably get that from that description, but it was all about you're inside your own head. And you're dealing with all the emotions. It's a good one. I think it's Under the Sea or something like that. But
see, if you could get games like Raft.
I like Raft. Yeah.
If you could get that on the Switch, would you get it on Steam or on the Switch? If they could make it like cross-platform, like they do on Fortnite.
I think that's the big thing, isn't it? I love the idea of cross-platform. Like for me, that has been such a big advancement on gaming because it takes away the kind of console wars or the PCMR, and it brings friends together because no matter what people say, you buy your console primarily based on what your friends have got.
Yeah.
So my friends always had Xbox, so I was always Xbox, but I don't really care what I play on. I play where there is the biggest scope to play with my mates.
Yeah.
So by making stuff cross-platform, I think I get that it's maybe a bit anti-profit for certain consoles, but if your focus is to bring all gamers together, cross-play and cross-platform play is incredible.
And it shouldn't be that difficult to do. I think it was when they made, was it Minecraft or Fortnite cross-platform.
Yep.
The developer and one of their coders were out saying it was only like 2 lines of code that needed to be changed for it to work across platforms.
Yeah.
And
That's
it shouldn't be.
fantastic.
It should be like that on all games.
I think so. I definitely think so. Multiplayer games. I think that would solve a lot of the dilemma of console wars and
like I worked for GameStop for a lot of years, and I was always the black sheep because I like Xbox and I like their interface and I love Halo.
Yeah.
And 75% of all people in Scandinavia buy PlayStation. Yeah. Because that's what we were born and raised with. So I was always like the opposite, trying to sell Xbox instead.
Yeah, I was the same. I think I moved to Xbox after the PS3, which was the really big shiny one.
That sucked.
But yeah, it did. The first console I bought for myself, like grown-up money, was the PS1, and then I got the PS2. And then I managed to get a advanced copy of the PS3 from Thailand.
Oh, nice.
And it was regional locked to like the Far East. And I spent like £600 on it. I never forget it.
Shit.
It was this, you know what it's like, that huge shiny console with a big dome on it. And and it had a Thailand adapter power plug. And I couldn't play any games from the EU. And it was the biggest waste of money I ever got. And I think it was at that point Halo came out and made the switch to the original Xbox 360.
Yeah.
And from
that was a beast.
It was a beast. Yeah, the big X and the big X controller. From that point on, I was Xbox probably for the next 3 to 4 generations. And I loved it. The Xbox ecosystem, the UI, the way that controllers connected, the way that everything just seemed to plug in and work. You know, Microsoft always lacked maybe the games as a broad kind of description, but they got the ecosystem right. I think to this day, Xbox always feels really good in terms of the ecosystem and the UI.
Yeah, and their online services are way further ahead than PlayStation's because they have so many more years of experience. And they've just looked in, like PlayStation have looked short-termed and got a lot of great games, and that's their force. Where Xbox are looking like on the long term with the Game Pass and with xCloud and all the things that are coming now. Like I love xCloud. Have you ever tried it?
I haven't.
No, it's basically you have a controller.
Yep.
You plug it to your phone and you stream all the games to the phone.
So it's basically like Stadia.
Yeah, just with Xbox and it works.
Yeah, that sounds really good. And obviously you can now stream to other. Well, you can do this with PlayStation as well, but you can obviously stream to another console within the house, or you can obviously just play on your phone, playing the actual from the main console.
What I liked about the Xbox One is that you can actually share it with a friend.
Yeah.
So I have a good friend called Dremby, or Dennis. And we've hooked it up so his Xbox is set as my home Xbox and mine is set as his. So all games he buy, I get, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So we get all games for like half price. Even though between us, I got plus 400 games on my accounts. And
I was going to say,
I bought 10.
He's got a good deal.
No, I got a good deal. I bought 10 games. He bought 400. I think.
Fair enough. Yeah, that is good. I think I need to be the other console that you registered to as well.
But he's that kind of guy. He's like texting me, "Oh, Carsten, should we buy this game?" And then a minute after, before I can reply, I bought it.
I bought it anyway.
It'll
be on your console in 3 hours.
Like Cyberpunk. It was like, "Oh, I bought it. You have it on Xbox now." But okay, thank you. I think.
Oh, Cyberpunk. That is the poison chalice of gaming this year, isn't it? So you had it on console as well as myself.
Yeah, on the One X.
Yes.
Not Series X, but One X.
I had it on the Series X, and it was bad. And I ended up returning it within. It was playable. I'm not going to say it was a disaster. It was playable, but I think when you set the bar quite high on a game coming out, you're really happy. I wanted to get it back and get it refunded before I got to a point that I got used to it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to basically pause that game for 3-4 months and pick it up again in the summer.
Yeah, they actually lost. Was it 85% of their player base since launch?
Yeah. And I can believe it. I mean, it's not a multiplayer game anyway, so it's not going to have the same longevity that Call of Duty Warzone would have. And I think it would be unfair to say that is a catastrophic thing, because you could probably say the same about The Last of Us 2. You could say the same about Ghost of Tsushima. After 3-4 months, everyone's finished it. So of course the player base is going to drop off. But you and I are very involved in the gaming community, and we all know that it was very polarizing in so much that it was so hyped and delayed so many times that to come out with so many misgivings was pretty bad.
It's incredible, and it's like a limbo right now, because do you believe the investors or do you believe the company who made it?
Yeah.
Because I believe they were pushed by the investors to release it before it was ready. But now the investors are suing the company who made it for not keeping their promises. So who do you believe? Like, I enjoyed the game, and I really gave it a chance. I wasn't hyped. I watched the launch trailer. That's it. I haven't read anything. I haven't seen anything.
Yep.
I usually don't, because I don't want to be biased by something. I want to experience it by myself. But I had a 3.5 hour gaming session, and it crashed 7 times.
Yeah.
And it just ruined the experience. And I was like, nope, I don't even want to bother, because it sucks.
There's not many games that crash to that point. Like, I get bugs, and I get that you release certain bug fixes quite quickly, and when they're tested in the real world, you find them. But people falling through floors and people just disappearing off maps and stuff like that is pretty unforgivable.
Yeah, and people having quests they can't complete because the NPCs just disappeared. I mean,
I had it. That's pretty much that was pretty much the decision point for me. Is I was playing the mission where you had to go and find this person that had military grade upgrades to their body. So this might already, and she was in this room, and you go down these steps, and she runs towards you, and I just spammed her with grenades and stuff like that, and she blew through the floor, and she was half in, half out, so her upper body was just doing this, and I just spammed her with grenades and shot her in the head, and she died, and as soon as she died, she fell through the floor. So I couldn't complete the mission. Now I don't know many. To be honest, I can't even count on one hand. I don't know many other games, if any, that have had it to the point where people fall through the floor.
No,
it's like a fundamental thing. Like, they stay in the world.
They should, at least.
They should. It's just bizarre. Like,
But okay, it's Cyberpunk. You don't know what happens in 2077.
Maybe the floors are made of jello. That's it. There's a quantum realm, and that's how it is. But
it's really bizarre. Bad. Like that it ruins the experience for so many people. And what I'm amazed about is all the people trying to talk positive about it.
Yeah.
And trying to defend the company, because I can promise you, if it was The Last of Us 2 who had so many errors, Naughty Dog would have been slaughtered.
Oh yeah, because the thing is, they got slaughtered just based on the story, but but no one can argue that the game didn't play well.
No,
you may not have liked the story, the direction, the art, the kind of the protagonists and the way they flipped the protagonist. Yeah. But that was all designed. That was all planned and scripted. But the game itself was very enjoyable to play.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed it. The Last of Us 2, I actually really enjoyed. I loved the fact that they flipped the protagonist and you actually started to veer the other way towards Abby. Yeah. And by the end of the game, I actually preferred Abby to Ellie.
Ellie, yeah.
So I thought that, to be honest with you, I think that was a very clever thing to do. Risky, because obviously they did alienate people, but that was by design.
Yeah.
Whereas Cyberpunk is like, it's not by design. That's just bad coding, right? It's just falling through the floor.
And imagine, do you think people would have defended Naughty Dog as much as they do CD Projekt Red if it had so many errors?
Probably not. I guess the thing is everyone hyped the game up, and I don't like hype. I don't like it at the best time because
No.
I've been stung too many times. No Man's Sky, Sea of Thieves,
What?
Cyberpunk.
Sea of Thieves is good.
I wasn't at the beginning. Like
I played it from day one.
Don't get me wrong. Jumping on the ship and going through the seas from day one was stunning.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do,
No.
where to go. What was the end game? What was the purpose of the game? It was just
missing a lot of guidelines.
Yeah,
You were just thrown into it. I agree.
Yeah, it was kind of like, and to be fair, No Man's Sky is still like that. I thought it was going to be a bit changed, but I spent 4 hours earlier on dying within 200 yards of my ship because I had no fucking clue what to do, and I think some games need to be challenging, but they need to be intuitive. If you need to go onto YouTube to find out how to build something or how to go somewhere, then they've not designed the world right.
No.
It should be challenging along the way, but it should be common sense how to do A or do B, and
Yeah,
that's,
especially if you have played video games before.
yeah. If you're not a complete noob at playing games, I don't consider
I would say
myself,
we have a certain level of expertise already, so we should know what to do.
well, especially
least the
yourself
fundamentals.
as an ex-professional gamer, you would hope so. But yeah,
Yeah.
I've been playing since I was 14, 15 years old. I'm now 41. I know how a world should work, and I know that if I go up to X, I should be able to push Y, and it should perform Z. But
Yeah.
when you're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what button do I press to get into this menu. I find a lot of UIs now are overly complicated for style
yes.
purposes.
I actually think Cyberpunk's was so hard to figure out.
Yeah.
Their menus and stuff. It was like you had to click a gazillion times to get to one point.
Yeah, and it's not obvious. The other one
it
that does
wasn't
that
logical.
was like Metal Gear Solid are very prone to that lately. Snake Eater and some of the more recent ones. The menus are just perplexing.
Yeah.
No idea what I've got to do. You find it by accident. It needs to kind of. I think a lot of these people. It's like when people design games for themselves, because they are coders, they know how things should work. I get this in my real life. I get this in my real job. When I try out new software for the property industry, and I go into it and I go, well, why don't you do this? Because, I always say design software from the lowest user up. Not from the person who's the director who's paying for it, because they're not going to use it. So don't make it sound like this is going to save you 15 hours worth of man time per day because we do X, Y, Z. But the person who's actually using it at the bottom goes, I don't have a fucking clue how this works. So I do get it in my day job, and I get so many people call up and go, we've done this new thing, da-da-da. And I get on the phone to them and go, well, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Why is this not like that? Why have you not integrated this to the diary so it saves inputting this information 4 times? And they're like, oh yeah, that was a good idea. Well, it's like, because you didn't ask the people who fucking use it.
No.
You basically got in your own bubble in a studio and said, this is a good idea. But what you should have done is go to me and you and go, this is the UI, what do you think? It sucks, I don't know what to do.
And that's why it's good to have beta testers.
Yes.
I usually don't like beta games, but for that purpose, amazing.
Yeah, alpha and beta.
Yeah, I don't like Cyberpunk where they have 20 million beta testers to try the game for full price. But like Ubisoft and I think EA does it as well. Like closed beta and alpha.
Yeah.
Sign up, get access, give your feedback. I've been to there's a production company called Massive Entertainment.
Yep.
Which is a part of Ubisoft. That's located in Malmö, just 20 minutes from here.
Nice.
And I've been to their office as playtester a couple of times. They sent out an invite because I signed up somewhere. I can't remember doing it, but I signed up somewhere and they sent an email saying, hey, we have this gig. It's a couple of hours. Come in, play the game, give us your feedback, and that's it.
Nice.
So I did it on Division 1 or 2.
Yep.
And one other game they produced. I can't remember the other one, but yeah, it's a cool way to do it, and they do the beta testing in-house.
Yeah.
Instead of having random people from outside. But they still have from outside. But if you know what I mean, it's in a controlled environment, so they can observe the players as well as they go along.
It's not the consumer telling you something needs fixing. It's someone that you've invited in to stress test the game.
Yeah, who has shown interest in actually doing it.
Yeah. It's. I think it's something which I hope doesn't become more common as we move into kind of 21, 22, is that games increasingly become unfinished when they're launched, because it is incredibly frustrating to pay, because game prices aren't going down, they're going up. We're now talking £50 to £60 rather than £49.99, £40. So, you know, all you want to do as a consumer is buy a game that's finished and is fun.
Yeah.
Simple.
We have like is it Curry's? You have in the UK who sells electronics and stuff.
Yeah, Curry's PC World.
We have something called it doesn't matter. We have a big one in Scandinavia. It would make sense, and I can't translate it. It's the Electronic Giant.
Yep.
Something.
We'll go with that.
Yeah. They always cut the price on games. So usually at launch you can get the games for £35.
Wow.
And that was one of GameStop's biggest competitors, because people were like, why should we pay £15 more in GameStop?
Yep.
And we simply couldn't take that loss, because GameStop made their money by selling games. And they don't. They just want to undercut the price to get people into their store to buy other electronics, like
Makes
computers,
sense.
TVs.
Yeah, it's a lost leader.
Yeah, exactly. It's a brilliant strategy. And I use it myself now that I don't work for GameStop anymore, because who wouldn't want to save 15 quid?
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. No profit, but they get people in their shop and they buy a Hoover.
Yeah, exactly. And I got great service in that store. I'll buy my things there.
Yeah.
Like my new keyboard I just received, that's from them. Because
Nice.
as a member of their customer club, which is free, I have 60 days full refund. So this Osmo I still haven't used yet to fill my B-roll. I can test it for 50 days and I can return it and get a full refund.
I also have an Osmo that's gathering dust on my shelf. They are, in theory, they are fantastic things, but like, unless you're one of those guys who is like an outdoor influencer, like who take like Peter McKinnon, like like those Osmos are amazing for outdoor B-roll. For indoor, you just like just do it with my hand.
The thing is, I tried with my camera do B-roll of the it was some custom cables I got for my PC.
Yep.
Called Reaper cables, and I was shaking so damn much.
That's the old age.
Yeah, but usually I don't shake. I don't see it, not if I do it with my phone. But my camera, without image stabilization, damn. So I actually set the frame rate down in the editing and post-edit, and it looked okay. But that was when I thought, okay, I need to do something, because I needed something to do my B-roll.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can do it at pace, because I remember my photographer who does a lot of my property photography, he's got a really nice kind of high frame rate 4K camera, and I watch him doing stuff, and they do it very quickly.
Yeah.
And then slow it down in post.
Yeah, exactly.
So it looks really simple. When you've got something that only films in 30 frames per second, 1080p, you've got to do it quite nice and slow, and that's when the handshakes start to come in.
I even tried to switch my camera to 4K at 24 FPS. Nope.
Still shaky.
It's still shaky. And the issue is, I think that's one of the issues, at least. I only have a 50mm lens as my prime lens, which I want to do everything with, because it's a great lens.
It's a great lens, a 50.
It's the one I use now as well on my stream. But it's just, you get too close to the object.
Yeah, 50. I use my 50 the least for my indoor shots, because you need to be way back.
Yeah.
Way back. I use the 24mm pancake lens, like that one I did for Valhalla. The one that kind of took off was my 24mm pancake lens.
Yeah, I only have the 50mm lens and then the kit lens.
Yeah,
I don't own any others, so I use my 50mm for everything. But I'm looking at buying a Sigma 16mm.
Nice. Yep.
It like full frame, it's 25mm.
Yeah.
So it's the same depth of field and everything as this one. It's just wider, so you get more of the image.
Yeah. The one that I use for my standard Instagram post is a 10 to 22 crop frame, so probably is about the same. Yeah. Probably is around that, but that's the one I normally do, is the pancake lens. It's really small. Yeah. Really shallow.
They're
which
amazing.
Is nice. But really, the funny thing is, because I've had that lens, the 10 to 22, I've had for so long. I think the lenses have started to either get not damaged, but it's not as sharp is when I shoot
Okay.
with this one, which is a lot newer, the pancake lens. When I shoot with this, everything just looks sharper than that.
Okay.
And I think
That's
it's maybe
weird.
because that's dirty, dusty, and whatever.
Probably.
But that's
Because
that's
it shouldn't degrade in quality even though it gets older.
yeah,
I have a friend who just bought 2 lenses from World War II,
nice.
and it's some of the most crisp pictures I've seen on Instagram all year.
Yeah, I also think maybe it's something to do with the way that the ultra wide works on it. It loses a bit of sharpness as you get that kind of, what do they call it, a chromic aberration or whatever. As it starts to kind of bow out a bit, it's not quite as sharp. But that lens is beautiful.
I need more lenses.
It's expensive.
Yeah, I shouldn't buy stuff. I'm unemployed.
You love to. You're the same as me. You're an impulse buyer, like that keyboard.
Yeah, and I just installed the new monitor I showed you on the group, and together with the keyboard I have another monitor that arrived today.
Another one on top of that.
Yeah, just to see if it fits. I can return it within 50 days.
But then you are the deal man. You are the man who gets deals more than anyone else in our chat. Like if there's a deal to be had, you are the man.
Yeah. If you need anything, I'll hook you up.
Well, I would have taken you up on that so many times. Apart from the PMP, the PMP from your house to mine would be insane. But what have you got?
Only 16 euros.
It's not too bad. Have you got anything special this year you got your eye on?
Mostly the new lens.
Yep.
Like the Sigma 60mm f1.4 lens. Because my computer is more or less upgraded. My streaming setup is running new monitor, ARM, keyboard. I think I got most I actually need.
Covered.
I want a new lens to be able to try to expand my range.
Well, the thing is, you as a content creator, that's an investment as opposed to a guilty purchase. And the problem is, being a content creator is quite an expensive thing to keep up, and that goes back to the point of people saying, well, why should I pay you? Is because if you're a content creator that's worth their salt, or someone that takes it seriously, you want to keep improving, right? And that's the kind of the problem is, like, I'm recording this on my work HP laptop. Of course I've got, like yourself, a nice computer over there, but I want to get away from using that. I want to be able to be more remote, and I want to sit in my little podcast area. So I want a MacBook M1. Now that's going to be another £1,000 investment, and I'm only going to be using it for podcasting. So it's an expensive thing, but that for me is you taking your art seriously and thinking of yourself as a professional, even though it's a hobby. I know you're the same as me, is that you take pride in what you do and you want to be the best possibly you can be at taking that photo or that content for that brand, or for even just for yourself. You want to take the best possible content.
And the thing is, you learn by doing.
Yeah.
So the things you're doing for your social media actually helps you in jobs in the future. Like I'm doing a lot of job applications at the moment, and a lot of them is like, do you have experience editing video? And now I can say yes because I actually do.
Yeah.
I didn't half a year ago, but I do now.
Well, there was a really good graph that someone put out the other day. I can't remember who it was, but it was one of the kind of new accounts that I followed, and they kind of like had content creator in the middle, and then they had spin-offs of that, of like, videographer, editor, social media manager, photographer. And when you actually put together your skill set that you've learned from doing, you actually think, it's not just a case of someone who gets their phone out and goes, bam, there's a picture.
Wasn't it that like the picture said, what is it actually you do as a content creator?
Yeah.
Then you have that person standing with all the bubbles.
Yeah, I think that was the picture I saw, and it was, and it kind of it hit me quite a lot, that one, in so much that you think, I do actually, as a content creator, you're not just doing one thing, you're doing 8 things, and you're not getting paid to do it.
And when you get to a certain point, when you have a certain amount of followers or community build, you start to do more work for free.
Yeah.
Meant in that way that, for example, with photography and editing, I've started to talk to a lot of people who have no idea how to do it.
Yeah.
And starting to teach them how to do it. And I do that for free as well. That like, I could charge people for the knowledge, but I want to help people. So have like no one. I was about to say no one knows how to use Lightroom. That is a bit exaggerated, but a lot of people don't know how to use Lightroom, for example, which is one of the greatest
full extent.
editing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, or just use it, because now we just use the built-in function in our phone or Snapseed
yeah.
to some auto thing.
Yeah.
Like, you can do it so easily.
Lightroom is great. I've actually used Lightroom more on the mobile in the last 2 months than I've ever used it before, because I can download from my camera via Bluetooth to the phone, and it's such an easy thing to do. Or yes, it's not in RAW, so if I did put it into the PC, I'd have a little bit more control over it. But it's for Instagram, it's good enough.
Yeah.
But Lightroom is fantastic.
I only use Lightroom, the free version, on my phone.
Yeah.
That's all I've ever used.
It's really good.
Yeah. It works. And like, if you want to edit on your PC, definitely go for the premium edition where you pay for it and get all the features. But if you you don't have the need to, do it on your phone. It works.
I think Lightroom and Photoshop is in pounds, it's $9.99 a month.
Yeah.
Which is, considering you pay like nearly £25 a month just for Premiere Pro, I think for £10 a month, it's still an outstanding price. Really good for those two. So if anyone's listening and you're thinking of improving your editing game, then I highly recommend going onto Adobe Cloud and downloading on their Creative Suite it's called the Photography Bundle, which is Photoshop and Lightroom.
But learn how to edit before you actually spend the money.
Yeah, do it.
Download the free version and try it out first.
100% on the phone for free. Learn how to edit. Firstly,
the
JPEGs.
way I learned it on the phone was watching 2 videos combined 20 minutes.
Yep.
That taught me the complete basics, and then I just started using it on a daily basis. Now I think I have it quite under control.
Yeah.
So it's like, it doesn't take a long time. It's not that complicated.
Well, YouTube's I said it on the previous podcast that YouTube is a fantastic tool that I never had growing up, and probably you didn't either. It's an incredible free resource. So, literally, if you don't know how to do something, I get a lot of DMs like, how did you do this? How did you do that? But honestly, if you're not sure, just go onto YouTube and put in the search bar, how do I tie my shoelace?
Yeah.
Literally,
I had
just word for word.
On my morning coffee and chill streams, we've had some editing sessions and stuff, and I encouraged people to try Lightroom and then send we have a weekly challenge.
Yep.
Where we set a theme and then they upload it and we look at it and I come with my input.
Nice.
Not to criticize. It's no competition. We're just going to inspire each other and motivate each other to be creative. And then this one guy, he's only shooting with his phone, and I was like, well, the cameras and the phones are amazing. You just need to learn them. Of course, you shouldn't compare it to a €200 camera with the prime lens, because that's not fair. But it's great cameras. And then I asked him, do you know the rules of third? Because he started taking pictures, and the focal point was down in the bottom of the picture, and there was like a lot of space. And I asked him, do you know the rule of thirds? And I sent him an article, and he didn't really know. And he was like, my phone, no, it can't do like this grid view. And I asked him, what phone do you have? I have a OnePlus 6. Google how to activate grid view.
Yep.
And I sent him a picture, and he was like, oh, I'm such an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Google, YouTube can tell you 99% of the issues.
Literally so much on there. And if I'm not the best person to learn by reading. I had this conversation with one of my work colleagues the other day. We're both the same. We learn by doing. So if I can, funny enough, I was in bed last night. Carly was asleep on my chest, and she was like, "Turn it down. What are you watching?" And I was watching a beard trimming tutorial. I was listening to a tutorial on how to keep the length of your beard yet shape it. And I've actually put some of them things into work today. But that's the thing. I need to look and watch a video rather than if I'd have read a tutorial on how to trim a beard, I would have been absolutely lost. But if you can watch a barber do it, brilliant.
Yeah, usually when I have to read it, I read the first couple of lines and then I just start skipping.
Yeah,
and going to the end, and
you have to reread
the point. Yeah.
Yeah.
But actually, your beard looks great, man.
Well, it's not where I want it to be. I actually use one of my daughter's hair bobbles to try and do a little chin plait. It's not quite that. Apparently, you need 4 inches to plait it. So that's
Okay.
the goal. Is I need another for 2 inches, and then I can go Viking on it.
In that Assassin's Creed Valhalla press kit, there were actually the beard balm and some
Nice.
face paint, and you got the beard ornaments as well to
Fantastic.
put in your beard, like made out of metal with the engravings and stuff. It was amazing.
That does sound incredible.
So that would fit your beard great. I was like, yeah, no, my beard's not really.
You've got a handsome beard. I've just got a crazy caveman beard going on at the moment. But
I trim my beard. This is the length it get. Like, I've been working on this for 6 years. It doesn't get any better than this.
well, it's very handsome. It's like you said, you're the handsome Viking. I'm the one that just rapes and pillages.
Oh, so that's why they sent you off to England.
Exactly. Yes, I wasn't based here, but I spread my seed across England and became part of the local network. But yeah. So look, we are now an hour and 40 in. So this is a world record podcast, and I know you and I can talk for hours because we're buddies. But
Yes.
we better wind it in so people can get on with their daily lives as we're working. So we're going to finish the podcast with one quick question, and let's see if anything springs to mind.
No.
As a dad, it can be you can have lots of embarrassing stories. Now, I've got one that springs to mind, not as a dad, but as a general lifetime story. But is there anything that springs to mind that might make the listeners giggle where you've done something embarrassing or something funny has happened to you?
Like as a dad, or just in general?
Either or. What's the one that springs to mind?
Like, okay, quick trip down memory lane. I was playing competitive Counter-Strike for 6 years.
Yep.
And one of the first tournaments was in Berlin in 2001.
Yep.
There was a press area who had a bar one of the evenings during the event, and we kind of snuck in, the entire team. We were like 20 guys. There was more than the team, but there was managers and stuff.
Yep.
And we had one guy from the press with us. And after some time, the bartender just asked, "Are you from the press? Are you Danish?" Because then he just gave us booze, because we just stole the press guys like his ID and went up to the bar. We need booze. Okay. So it got out of hand, and the first female professional player was called Killer Creek.
Yep.
And me and a guy Chucky, we got into a fight trying to to win her over on our side. And actually, I was detained by a biker from Bandidos.
Wow.
I was put to bed. But oh yeah, and before that, me and a guy called Kenneth, we were lying on the toilets, acting like stranded whales trying to bite people in their ankles when they entered the toilet. Yeah, it was happy days. There are so many stories.
Oh, that's the thing. I think we're in an era now where everything's a bit PC. You can't get away with anything these days. But I mean,
No.
at work we used to get away with some horrendous things when people left the business or when people joined the business, to a point where emails went round saying you can't do this anymore because we're about to get sued. We used to do all sorts. But I think the single most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to me was when we were on a long haul flight. It must have been either from England to South Africa or from South Africa to England, but it was a long flight and it was a fully stacked plane. And I remember getting up from my seat, and I was always very nervous about getting up to go to the toilets on planes, because it's one of those things where it's quite nerve-wracking anyway. If you've got to walk quite far to get to the toilet, and it's one of those where the toilet is not beyond a curtain or a door, like you go into the toilet and there's a seat right outside the toilet, right? So you've got kind of, people staring at you going in. Then you have that whole concept of, can they hear me? But I must have been around 13 years old, probably 12, 13 years old. And this has stuck with me for life. But I remember getting out of my seat on this massive kind of Boeing 747 super plane. Really so many people. It's a fully packed plane, and going up to the toilet and looking at the door and thinking, which one's the handle to open the door? Because everything looked like a fucking handle, right? And this was the days before smoking was banned. Like, you could still smoke on a plane, you could still smoke in a bar, and all of that. So I was looking at the door, and it felt like 1 second became 3 minutes. And I could tell that people were going, what's this kid going to do? So I just took the plunge and went, that's got to be the handle. And I went to pull it, and I pulled out the ashtray. And it was full of cigarettes. Like, this ashtray just came out. I remember pulling it out of the wall. It didn't even open. I just pulled it out. This whole ashtray came out of my hand.
Superman.
And I turned around, and I think like 25 people were just looking at me like I was some sort of weirdo with this ashtray in my hand. And I remember turning around to the very first seat that was outside of the door and just putting this ashtray on his armrest, like full of cigarettes, and just then disappearing into the toilet and staying in there for about 25 minutes, almost crying to myself, thinking I've got to come out of this door in a minute and everyone's going to be looking at me. It was horrendous. It was absolutely horrendous. But that you always get those memories that stay with you forever. And I don't like going on planes. I don't like going to public toilets for reasons such as that.
Wasn't there a sign?
There wasn't a sign. If there was, I missed it. But it was.
So what you're telling us, you couldn't read?
I couldn't read. I was 13.
Okay.
I was illiterate, and I didn't even see the sign that said this is an ashtray, not a handle. But they were very. In my defence, that the handle and the ashtray were very close to each other, and it could have gone either way. And it wasn't my day. It wasn't my day, sadly.
But hey, you made someone laugh.
Exactly. Maybe. Well, they weren't laughing at the time, but I'm sure. Sure when they landed.
Oh, then this one time at the plane,
there was this ginger guy.
It was a good. Yeah, exactly.
He pulled an ashtray out and put it on my armrest. It was really funny later. But
actually, I don't think I've ever done like embarrassing things. I'm very hard. Like I don't get embarrassed.
Oh,
That's why I like Linnea, my girlfriend. She tells me all the time that our daughter is gonna hate me when she grows up.
You're gonna embarrass the hell out of her.
Oh, every day.
Yep.
Like if she did that, I'd gladly dress up in a Frozen dress and go outside. No problem.
We're gonna have great fun. We're gonna have great fun. We like my dream is definitely for us to meet up one day. We talked about this quite a lot. Obviously, the previous year, we don't mind getting in the car and driving across Europe. Last year we went through Belgium, France, Belgium, and then through to Holland. It is realistic that we could do a road trip to your neck of the woods and we could have a family get together. We've obviously already introduced our kids over camera anyway, so it would be something fantastic to.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. So
I think it is. I think once this COVID madness is over, I think we're definitely eager to get the kids on holiday again, on a proper holiday. And we do like the I'm not a big flyer anymore because of the ashtray incident, but I would prefer train, boat, or drive. And that could be a thing that we jump in the car and we come all the way across there and we hang out for a day or two. That would be sick.
I haven't been damaged by airplanes, even though I had not incidents, but I was forgotten in the airport in France.
Is that Home Alone 4?
As an 11-year-old, I had like this. I was going to my brother who lived in Toronto in Canada, and I had this small purse around my neck, so they should take me from one plane to the next.
Yep.
They didn't.
And
then I was just standing in the gate, and then suddenly some French guy come, blah, 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 and then he saw that pouch or thing, and he was pale as fuck, and he just ran off. And I was like, okay. And then he came back in one of those small golf carts, and the plane had been waiting for me for half an hour, and they couldn't find me.
What a nightmare! I was going to say, then you met two criminals, and you created this house full of horrors. And now we live here in Sweden. You sold the rights to Warner Brothers and Home Alone 1. There we go.
It's actually me.
It is actually Carsten who came up with Home Alone 1. So claim to fame right there.
What people don't know is it's actually a documentary.
It is. David Attenborough could have taken that a whole different direction.
Yeah.
I can see the resemblance now. You and Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, we have teeth.
Yeah, definitely.
And eyes.
You've definitely got the beard of Macaulay Culkin, but you're looking a bit more healthier than he does. He's got that heroin look, whereas you.
That's popular in some parts of the world.
Whereas you're a bit more filled out and a bit more healthy looking.
Yeah, they did like Vikings didn't have heroin, so we
No, absolutely not. So look, Carsten, thank you so much for coming. This is obviously first episode, season 2 of the Dadcast. I feel like we could have gone on for 3 hours, but obviously I think probably the limit to podcasting is probably an hour. We're 49 minutes over that. So hopefully people listen to this and have a bit of fun and chill out and take some bits from it, that we're all normal people, whether we're content creators, dads, or whatever. We all have exactly the same stresses, exactly the same problems. We're not anything special. We're just people who are maybe at some points a little bit further down the road than other people, but we're all in the same journey, right?
Yeah, we definitely are.
Exactly. So thank you for joining me, and we'll obviously keep continuing to be friends on social media. If anyone is interested to look at what Carsten does, what do you mean? No, of course we are. We're locked in for life now. But if anyone wants to look at Carsten's amazing photography skills, because he is very good at product photography for one, for lifestyle photography too. It's not necessarily all set up shots like myself, but it's a very nice kind of kind of natural way of taking photography. Lots of steelbooks, lots of really nice bokeh and kind of nice blurred foreground, background photography, knives. Obviously buying loads of tech that he shouldn't be buying right now, same as me. Then please do visit
That's
his
what my story is.
Yeah, exactly. Go check his Instagram out. I'm going to link below on all of the descriptions and social platforms that this goes out on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and maybe this one might even go for the first time on YouTube as a visual podcast, so you can stare at our beautiful faces and see the handsome Viking versus the barbarian in myself, that will be a new thing. So thank you to everyone that's listened. Thank you to Carsten for joining me.
My pleasure.
You are a fantastic person and a great fellow dad. I know we have a lot in common, so it was a big honor for me to invite you on as guest 1 on season 2. So thank you again for joining me.
My pleasure. It was let's do it again.
We'll definitely do it again. And for anyone that wants to jump onto Twitch, again, I will link to that. Carsten is on most mornings for the coffee stream. First thing, you can stare at his lovely face and his blurry background and watch him entertain people. So I will link again to all of those. So thank you for listening, and we will catch you all for episode 2. Don't know who's coming on yet, but we will find someone equally as interesting as Carsten, and we will get this next season rolling, and we're going for 40 episodes this year. That's the goal. So thank you, and take care. Goodbye. So thank you all. That is a wrap. We'll be moving on to the next episode very soon. Once again, thank you for tuning into this podcast. You can follow me over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts. Every follow and listen is very much appreciated. Thank you all, and I hope to speak to you very soon on this podcast, and I hope you've enjoyed today's show.